Any moment from now, we'll be taking you live to the Jivanji Gardens, where the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is John Buddy, is said to have an engagement with Bunge la Wananchi in terms of the areas the government is planning to tax this time around in the 2025-2026 financial year so that it can fund its activities for the financial year. We're also keeping a close eye on the Kibera Law Courts, where a case of bail is being heard, of course, in regards to Sarah Cohen, the wife of the late Top Cohen. Those are our top stories this afternoon. As and when we get those links, we'll be taking you there live. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Lensa Odingo. But to other news now, the Movement for Democracy and Growth, MDG, have raised concerns over the rising cases of abductions across the country, urging the government to take swift action. Speaking during a fundraiser for Ashinani Circle in Bumala, Busia County, the party leader David Ochieng said the rate at which young people disappear and later are found dead in mortuaries raises serious questions. Busia County Governor Paul Otuoma echoed the sentiments, urging the politicians to support security agencies with information to aid investigations on the abductions.
Tutamgeni makotea hapatikani wiki mbili, wiki tatu hapatikani, wiki nne hapatikani, akipana hapatikani wiki ya 4 amekuwa kwa mchana. So much as I support the Kenya Kwanza government, abductions must end forthwith. Nafungua bunge wiki ijayo, na kama wabunge tutaweka kamati hiyo kwamba nani ana abduct watoto wetu. They must be investigated. Kujua ni nini? Because a crime is a crime. It cannot be profiled. Ukiwa na evidence, peana. Ama iko namna gani? Let us not politicize things. Give evidence.
Elsewhere, the National Authority for Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA, has kicked off a 5-day sensitization roadshow in Laikipia, aiming to dissuade young people from dangers of drugs and substance abuse. Speaking in Nyanyuki during the official launch on Monday, NACADA's Rift Valley Region Coordinator Andrew Githui revealed that young adults aged between 25 and 35 years are the most affected by drug addiction. Laikipia-based anti-drug activist Boniface Nyamu emphasized the need for a drug-free community, noting that raising public awareness is key to tackling the menace.
Launched the 5-day roadshow so that we can be able to sensitize people in Laikipia County about the adverse effects of alcohol and substance abuse. And towards the end of last year, we formed the Laikipia Community Work Group, which you can be able to see here. And this is part of the collaboration that we are doing to them so that we ensure that the menace of alcohol and drug abuse within Laikipia County is eradicated.
Na mimi ningefurahia kuona hata watoto wakiwa shuleni wanasoma bila hii matatizo yote. Na leo Mungu akiwezesha tutazunguka kote tuwaelezee vile wanafaa kuishi na bila ulevi na bila madawa.
A group of women from Dagoretti North, led by Women Peace Caravan Chair Nairobi County Mary Njuguna, have come out in defense of Chief Justice Martha Koome following calls for her resignation. Speaking in Kawangware, the women hailed efforts by the CJ of launching courts at the sub-county level, which they say has greatly addressed the legal challenges faced by most informal dwellers. They have threatened to mobilize for countrywide protest if their plea is not considered. Currently, there are 2 petitions filed before the courts seeking for the removal from office of the Chief Justice.
Imetokea ya kwamba ya kuwa wanataka kutoa Martha Koome Chief Justice. Na sasa huyu mama ni sisi wa mama wote ambao wamechaguliwa. Hiyo kiti haikuangi yao, hiyo ni kiti yetu sisi wa mama. Kwa hivyo sisi wa mama tuko na malalamiko ya kusema ya kwamba Koome hawezi kutolewa hapo. Kwa sababu ile kazi amefanya ni kazi kubwa, na sisi wa mama mashinani tumefaidika. Kwa sababu zamani kesi kipelekwa, hata kama ni mtoto amerepiwa, ama ni mama ako na kesi ya shamba ama ya kupigwa, ilikuwa inakaa miaka kama 10. Lakini siku hizi vile koti zimekuja mashinani, watu hata hawaendi mbali. Unaenda mwezi moja, miezi 2, kesi yako inaisha. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi kunyamaza tukiona mmoja wetu anadhulumiwa. Na Martha Koome, ujiweke nguvu, kwa sababu tuko nyuma yako na tunakushikilia kabisa.
And in other news, Mbeere North Member of Parliament, that is Geoffrey Roku, and his long-time political rival, Dr. Dominic Murange, have put aside their differences and pledged to work together for the benefit of the people. Speaking at Karirama Market in Evurore Ward, Mbeere North constituency in Embu County, during the issuance of bursaries for boarding secondary school students, Dr. Murange lauded the MP's commitment to improving education through the Imarisha Elimu program. Mbeere North Member of Parliament Geoffrey Roku reiterated that they need for leaders to set aside their political differences and work together to foster the development of the region and the nation at large.
It is extremely important when leaders come together to work together for the purpose of developing our nation, our counties, our constituencies. And that's why we say here in Mbeere North that we are building a better society together. Tutaendelea kufanya kazi pamoja na viongozi wote, ili yule ambaye ako na mafikra tofauti analeta kwa meza, na yote tunajumulisha, inakuwa ni kitu ambayo inaweza faidi wananchi.
7 schools in the country will compete for a robotic competition, with the winner expected to represent the country in the United States later this year. STEMREX East Africa company, specializing in robotic mentorship for students across the country, is organizing the championship to be held at the Merishaw School in Isinya. The championship is aimed at identifying passionate students in STEM and linking them with eye-opening opportunities across the country to help enhance their passion, creativity and innovation. The company's chief executive officer, that is Christine Onyango, says robotics presents a great learning opportunity for students to gain useful skills in design, construction, programming and research, as well as a move aimed at creating real-time solutions.
Robotics is basically designing, putting together the robot and then giving it instructions on how it needs to behave or what tasks it needs to solve, and that is our aim today.
It's very, very exciting. And as we will be able to go to Michigan after this competition. Robots first makes creativity easier, and it shows that our children are really conquering the world.
A section of anti-femicide activists have put Kenyan women legislators on the spot of a failure to address increased gender-based violence and femicide cases in Kenya through legislation. Speaking in Nakuru County during an event to mark the 1-year anniversary of End Femicide in Kenya campaign, the activists raised questions about the allocation criteria and effectiveness of the funds allocated by the government to address the crisis. In November last year, the president committed 100 million shillings to boost awareness on the vices during the 16th day of activism against gender-based violence, while last month the Kenya Women Parliamentary Association launched an initiative dubbed Komesha Dhuluma.
Of the total number of women that were killed from 2016 up to 2013.
We're coming up with the GBV Center in Gilgil, and we have the safe spaces, private safe spaces. So whenever these incidences occur and they are reported to us, we always pick up the matters.
Ni uchungu sana tukiona mtu amefanya makosa akiwalk out of the gate ya station na makosa yake. Afadhali kesi ikatolewe kotini.
Why is it that we haven't gotten any justice of the murderers that have been killing women since we started this campaign?
Kisii woman representative Doris Donya is challenging school leavers from the county to take advantage of vocational courses that can help them to eke a living. Donya said that particular labour market, adding that the accredited artisans will be considered for job opportunities, including in the ongoing affordable housing projects under the national government. She spoke while presiding over a joint accreditation ceremony between her office and the National Construction Authority for Kisii South Sub-County, where 600 artisans received accreditation certificates.
Ribika utafute plumber uone ile kazi anafanya unalipa kweli kweli. Even kwa hizi countries zenye zimeendelea, the highest paid people, nilikuwa nimeenda safari US, mtu wa kukata mti peke yake na hiyo machine na kila kitu wanalipwa kushinda engineers. Mimi ningesema tujaribu kazi zote. Usikae hivi hata kama umemaliza university.
Still on education matters, institutions of higher learning have been challenged to embrace innovative approach to voting student leaders to minimize disruption to learning and promote integrity of the election and leadership. The Kiambu National Polytechnic Chief Principal Sami Waititu said by embracing technology to enable students vote in leadership on their choices will help to instill democratic ideals going forward.
You have an objective that I am sure is in line with the mandate of the institution. It is in line with the vision of Kiambu National Polytechnic, and we are in this one together.
The process was fair, it was very transparent, it was very open. And as we said the other time, the process was very simple to vote. It was quite accurate in terms of tallying and counting, and very verifiable, because I know they have a server that we can get back to and verify the results.
The students have actually commended the system. We had people from the IBC, they have also commended the system, and we are proud of what has happened here today.
And I had earlier informed you that we'll be taking you live to Jivanji Garden. Now we do have a hold of the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is John Buddy, who's having an engagement with Bunge la Wananchi in terms of even the finance bill that is set to be launched, of course, presented by the National Treasury. Let's listen in to what the Treasury Cabinet Secretary is telling the people there.
Consider as priority in their lives. That is very important for us to inform the budgeting process. Number two is what are some of the challenges, especially in terms of taxation and tax measures. When you talk to Kenyans now, what is in the lips of everybody is that we are being overtaxed, and that the resources that we give the government, we don't see the value, that services are not being rendered. I want to engage you today to listen and hear from you. Apart from the challenges, apart from the problems, what do you believe would be the solutions to some of the challenges that we face as a country? Let me just take 2 or 3 minutes to break down a few things. When this government took over in 2022, there were a lot of challenges. One of them, and which is very critical, is the issue of public debt and debt servicing costs. This government took over at a time when budget deficit, as per the budget estimates of 2022-23, was 925 billion shillings, which is almost $1 trillion. Imagine an economy like Kenya borrowing a quarter of its budget every year to finance its activities. Number two, this government took over when already the government was showing signs of defaulting in paying Eurobond. I'm sure you are aware of this, which almost caused economic meltdown in this country. The shilling traded to 160 per dollar because of the signals that was sent to the economy that the government was going to default. And the window had been closed at that time.
So that default, even though we avoided it, we must make sure, because going forward, some of you have heard me mention that Kenya, we will only have a breathing space between 2034 and 2048. Why do I say so? Because in 2027, there is going to be a Eurobond of 900 million to be paid in May, on May 22nd. That is the deadline. The following year, 2028, in February, 9 months later, we are paying another Eurobond, 1 billion, which was taken so many years back. Then, that is 2028. 2029 is 1.2. Then 2031, we have 1.5. And then 2034, we have another 1.2. So the only time that we don't have Eurobond to repay is between 2034 and 2048. As a country, if we are responsible in managing our finances, we cannot wait until 2027 to be able to retire or pay some of these debts. If we do so, it will send a wrong signal to the economy, and we will be back to where we were early last year. Let me mention the second thing. The second thing is, where are we now? Are we doing okay? The answer is no. We are not doing okay, but we are better than yesterday. Why do I say we are better than yesterday? There is this rating that has come out from the Moody's. Some people think ni mushene. This is not mushene. This is factual. But how was this informed? The credit rating is all about the ability of a country to repay its debts. And that can only be assessed from certain parameters, from certain fundamentals. The key fundamental is inflation rate. Our inflation rate has showed signs of coming down. It was 9.6 in October 2022. The prices were increasing. That is what we call inflation. The prices were increasing at the rate of 9.6%. That has come down now to 3.3%. That has given a good indicator to the market. The second one, and I want to move very quickly. The second one is, how does government borrow? What is the rate of interest? Remember, just a few months ago when I took over office, we were borrowing at 15.6%. The government was borrowing through treasury bills, the 91-day treasury bill. We were paying 15.6%. Today, as we speak, that has come down to 9.5%, below 10%, single digit for the first time. That has given good indicators that we can be able to borrow money cheaply to retire expensive loans. Because what we are doing with the domestic borrowing is we are borrowing to repay what we had. So if you are borrowing cheaply to repay an expensive loan, that is the only way you can get out of debt trap. Even at home, if you want to come out of debt, ile fuliza, tuanze na Shylock, kabla tujaenda fuliza. If you have a Shylock of 30%, you go for fuliza, isn't it? Say fuliza charges you 12%. If you find a friend who can give you the same amount, and you only pay 5%.
Well, that is the Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Buddy having an engagement with Bunge la Wananchi there. Of course, you can see behind them, they're there behind him. And of course, he's talking about the main concerns that have been raised there so far is that in terms of overtaxation, Kenyans are saying that they are overtaxed. And he's saying that we need to have a brainstorming session with those people behind him so that the Treasury can see other areas they can tax so that they can collect revenue to finance some of their projects, as well as some 2025-2026 finance bill, what the Treasury is proposing to tax this financial year to collect the revenue. Of course, we'll talk about that and the issues of debt. And our very own Trevor Ngendo is attending that particular session and will duly inform us in our subsequent bulletin. Let's come back here and head over to the corridors of justice, where the tribunal investigating judge of the Environment and Land Court, Justice Mohammed Nur Kulo, has cleared him of all accusations leveled against him. Presenting its report to the President, the judge Omenga Kiage-led tribunal has recommended his reinstatement. Justice Kulo had been accused of delaying rulings and judgments without giving explanations, failing to respond to correspondence from the Chief Justice, retaining a court file, hence denying a party the right to lodge an appeal, and delivering rulings and judgments without issuing notices.
all of us are subject to the Constitution. And all of us are equal in the eyes and in the balance of the Constitution. And everybody's right. The rights of the petitioners are guaranteed by the Constitution. The rights of everybody else, including those who are accused or petitioned against, is equally protected by the law. And I want to, in a very special way, congratulate this tribunal. It confirms the balance of the law. And all of us, by submitting ourselves to the law, by submitting ourselves to processes that are provided for by the law, does not amount in any way to admitting either guilt or breach of whatever provisions of the law.
Now, before we take this particular story, of course, we have also some development, given that earlier I told you at the Kibera Law Courts, the wife of the late Top Cohen, that is Sarah Cohen, and of course, a ruling has been made that after submissions from the DPP and the defense team on whether is that the court has ruled that she remains in custody until the 18th of February, when it will be pronounced its a verdict on the application. That means that Sarah Cohen will stay behind bars in terms of at least 13 days or so. Now, you can see on the right side of my screen is Christine Martini, who's joining us to inform us in the latest when it comes to the university lecture strike. Tell us about what is happening there, Christine. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Abdiaziz. We're coming to you live from the Technical University of Kenya, where earlier in the morning, lecturers here striked because they stated their grievances which they want the government to address. They even left some students stranded, unable to do their end of semester exams. And allow me to speak to some of the officials here who will state their grievances that they want the government to address.
My name is Fred Sawenja. I am the chapter secretary of University Academic Staff Union at the Technical University of Kenya. WASU issued a strike notice on the 23rd, on 16th of January 2025. And on the 23rd of January 2025, we began the strike as members of academic staff, having given the government a 7-day strike notice. Among the grievances we have issued to government that needs to be addressed are delayed payment in salaries, very chronic. At that time, we had not earned our December salary, which came on 26th of January. And even as we speak to you now, we have not earned our January 2025 salaries. At the same time, we have issues with the remittance of our third party and statutory deductions. Our pension scheme was wound up by the courts, having been, insolvent for quite a number of years, and members have lost close to 5.3 billion shillings in terms of their savings. We have had many other grievances that have to do with the implementation of CBAs. Local CBAs have outstanding arrears, national CBAs have outstanding arrears, among other monetary issues that we have raised to government. We have petitioned government through the Ministry of Education and as well as the National Treasury We have petitioned Parliament, and we have not had any response to them. So we have been on strike since 23rd to date, and so far governments in any form have not approached us, but we are still insisting that we shall remain on strike until the Minister of Education takes the initiative to come to TUK and address those grievances. These are monetary issues that require intervention of none other than the government through the Minister of Education as well as the Treasury. Now today is 3rd February. Students were scheduled to begin their exams. University management had assured students that they will start exams today and that they had made adequate arrangements for exams to be done even as we continue being on strike. The memo they released to the students acknowledges that members of academic staff as well as KUSU, those are non-teaching, are on strike. And so it was upon themselves to see how the exam will be done. As well as ourselves having indicated to the management that once we have taught the students and we have set exams, these are internal exams that are only moderated and examined and administered by the lecturers. So any other mode of administering those exams would have been highly illegal. And so as it were, when management tried to issue the exams, our members stayed put. They did not participate in the exams. They did not invigilate, and therefore, as it were, the systems fell along the way by themselves naturally. And as you can see, the exams for today have aborted, and they have aborted because there were no lecturers to invigilate or supervise those exams. And therefore, we will continue being on strike ourselves, and we have insisted that all other things notwithstanding, our interest remains that government must come in and give us a bailout plan. We are talking of about 11.2 billion shillings that members of staff are owed in various forms, unremitted payee, bank loans, SACCO, insurance, medical claims, gratuity, all those financial issues that members are to be paid. Together with our wound-up scheme, we're talking about 11.1 billion. Now that's an amount which is astronomical and cannot be handled by the University Management Board, neither can the council be able to deal with it. So we are making a direct appeal, and we have petitioned them. The Cabinet Secretary for Education, Migosi, together with the PS in Nyangala, they must pick up this matter and have a long-term solution to the financial problems that this institution is facing that is causing a lot of harm and embarrassment to the members of staff of this institution. Our mental stability has been challenged because of the various issues we are having, and as it is, we are not in the best mental frame to be able to even administer exams because we are on strike and our monies have not been paid to us, including the salary of January. And nobody's even talking about it. And we know it is a big challenge to us. So our appeal remains the same. Even as we ask students to remain calm until we sort out this issue with the government, then of course we will be back in class teaching them, we will be back in class examining them, we will be back in class invigilating the examination. But as it is now, our members remain on strike. We have totally withdrawn our labor, and there is no member of academic staff who will be in class teaching, examining, administering exams, or even if exams were to be administered in whatever other form, they will not mark those exams.
That is our very own Christine just engaging lecturers and staff members at TUK, given that they started their strike on the 23rd of January, and they're saying that they will continue until their demands are met. They're clearly saying that the government, at least they owe the government 11.2 billion shillings in terms of salary arrears, pension schemes, remittances and other statutory deductions. And of course, she'll duly inform us in our subsequent bulletins. It is 29 minutes past the hour. Let's take our first commercial break here on KBC's Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. We still have more for you on the other side.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday from 10 p.m. and a rerun every Tuesday from 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Where is everyone? I am Princess Snow White with 7 dwarfs around me. How come there's only you left? Tell me.
Now I'm telling you something. Hajunje quit the team. So, today we have to choose a new captain from you.
We can't win without you. Who am I going to cooperate with?
We can't win even with me.
Actually, I came here today not only to return the computer, but also to say something important. Invite you to work with us. Hey look, I brought all the material. And this one is our company's profile.
Ndio at least ndio nikiona vizuri. Hapa inaona.
Mtoto akililia wembe, sharti ainame.
Hawa ni kina nani tujuane?
Huyu sasa ndio Mbuta Lukaso.
Nilikuwa na daktari hapa amenitimbu.
Daktari gani huyo?
Mukaka amenikanda na maji moto.
Nisipaka ndio mchezo. Huwezi kwenda hata pole pole.
Unataka kukaa na mimi ukifanya nini hapa? Naona kiti ni ya mtu mmoja.
Wewe usinichuje hapa na pewe ni mtumwa.
Mimi ni mtumwa.
Usishikishike jaba mamako tafadhali.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, Muslim women leaders in Busia County are threatening to take legal action against schools that prohibit students of the Islamic faith from wearing the hijab in educational institutions. The leaders spoke during the commemoration of World Hijab Day that brought together leaders from a region calling for freedom of worship.
Tunasema kwamba bunge lilipitisha sheria kuruhusu watoto wetu wa kike kufunga hijabu. Koti ilifanya uamuzi kwamba watoto wetu waruhusiwe kufunga hijabu. Ministry of Education ilitoa circular ya kuruhusu watoto wetu kufunga hijabu, na kama kuna shule ambayo inakataa kuruhusu watoto wetu kufunga hijabu, tumetoka na uamuzi hapa leo kwamba tutaenda kotini, tutaenda kupetition ili watoto wetu waweze kuruhusiwa kufunga hijabu na wasipate changamoto.
A team of cyclists have embarked on a cycling journey from Meru to other 6 counties to create awareness of the need for early cancer screening. Speaking at the Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital during the flag-off, that the founder of Naledi Initiative, Robert Murithi Kamara, said that cancer is curable if detected at an early stage. According to the Ministry of Health in Kenya, cervical cancer is the leading cause of death, with 10 women dying every day from the disease.
One of the manifesto of the current government is a happy marriage. And if people are not happy, then that means there's something wrong. So in our manifesto is to try to also make the health within our institution affordable and timely, so that everyone within the county is happy.
This time round, we thought we should probably team up and do like an awareness cycling campaign around Mount Kenya. Going through all the 6 counties, starting with Meru, Laikipia, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Embu, and Tharaka Nithi.
Here in Meru, because this is where also Narindi have been doing now 7 medical camps, and that's what we are doing. And I want to tell people that cancer is not death sentence. When early detected, can be able to be saved.
A section of leaders in Tana River County have urged herders in the region to embrace peace and dialogue in resolving their differences. The leaders, who attributed the recent clashes to inter-clan conflict over pasture for their livestock, stressed the need for alternative solutions to resource-based conflicts. They called on community elders to lead dialogues and peace resolution efforts to help curb recurring clashes in the region.
Lakini kwa vile imefanyika katika sehemu yenu, nendeni kwa ndugu zenu, mupeane pole, mueleze vile iko, na vile kijana mmempoteza mueleze, ili amani ya kudumu irudi. Sawa sawa. Mukiona mali yao, labda mtu ametoroka kwa hofu, tafadhali wazee washike, wangoje na wenyewe wapatiane.
Watu wa Tana River tudumishe amani, na kama kuna mtu yoyote amekukosea, fata sheria, enda ukamripoti polisi, umshtaki, umfuate taratibu ya sheria, lakini usiweze kutoa mtu uhai kwa sababu amekukosea.
Mlengwe, lakini ujaribu kufanya uadilifu na tusimame na amani na haki.
Now to a neighboring county of Tana River, a section of contractors and suppliers from Garissa County is pleading with President William Ruto to intervene and have their dues owed by the county government paid. The contractors allege that they provided various services amounting to 3 billion shillings a decade ago, but efforts to settle the debt have hit a dead end. Through their chairman, Omar Yassin Mohammed, they now want the president, who is scheduled to visit northeastern counties this week, to pronounce himself on the matter, as most of them are reeling in a debt and threats by auctioneers.
Wakati imeingia 2014 ndio hiyo kazi nimefanya matarifu 2 mpaka saa hii sijalipwa, mpaka saa hii. So sina namna, karibu tufungue mabibi. Watoto tumetoa ile quality shule, wale walikuwa wanasoma kwa sababu ya ukosefu ya karo. So maisha iko hatari. Some of our colleagues ambaye contractors walikufa na wanadaiwa deni, watoto wao wanahangaika. Mpaka sisi sangine tunachanga kwenda kina mama kuambia bole.
Ruto tunataka kuchukua wewe utakuwa waziri mwingine, tafadhali Adan Barre, wewe ndio sasa amekuwa cheo kubwa ya Garissa, tupatie pesa yetu.
It is pressing matter to a whole Garissa community. Please, Mr. President, please intervene this issue and save Garissa people.
Over 2,500 students in Mandera East constituency will receive support from a 50 million shilling kitty from the National Government Constituency Development Fund, NGCDF. The area Member of Parliament, Hussein Abdirahman, reassured constituents that the distribution process will prioritize those who truly deserve the financial assistance.
The Member of Parliament for Mandera East, Hussein Waitin Abdirahman, launched a 50 million shillings bursary fund at the Mandera Technical Training Institute.
This is meant for the most vulnerable, the most poor, the needy, students in our community.
To ensure fairness and transparency, Abdirahman announced plans to work closely with community elders in selecting eligible students who will benefit from the fund.
All the elders have agreed that the best model, the best way that we can give out bursary and it can reach the most vulnerable is through our elders.
Mandera County Commissioner Henry Ochako, along with parents in attendance, praised the initiative, noting that it would significantly improve educational outcomes in the county.
So ninaomba sana viongozi wale ambao mnatilia maanani kwa mradi kama huu wa CDF ambao unaleta maneno ya elimu, kuwezesha wale wazazi ambao hawajiwezi watoto wao nao wasikose kusoma. Elimu wanasema kwamba is the major equalizer.
Kuna watoto wengine yatima, kuna wengine hawana kitu, yote inshallah watasoma vizuri.
The funds will assist students in secondary schools, colleges and universities. Mariambo reporting for the Lunchtime News.
Now to the world of politics, where Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenku has told a section of senior county members of staff engaging in 2027 campaigns to either shun politics or resign from his administration forthwith. Olelenku says early campaigns is a major setback to the county development agenda, saying the priority should be to deliver services to the electorate and finish incomplete projects.
Sasa hivi bado muda mrefu siasa ikuje kuliko ile watu wamefanya kazi. Wacha kazi ifanyike, siasa ikifika twende kwa siasa. Lakini saa hizi tukinyima siasa itujengee shule ya chekechea, tukikoroga siasa iende na daraja yenu, tukisukumana na siasa ipotee na kazi ya Njoroge na kazi ya wengine. Na bado miaka 2 na miezi 8, wapendwa, hatujafanya ungwana kama kiongozi wenu, na niko na heshima kubwa sana kwa nafasi hii mmetupatia. Bado tuko na nafasi ya kufanya kazi.
Leaders in Kilifi County are urging parents to take an active role in monitoring their children's education. Speaking during the launch of a 3-classroom block for junior secondary school at the Kilangombe, the Director of Education in Rabai Sub-County, Doris Mashaka, highlighted that the Ministry of Education has provided all necessary textbooks for grade 9 students, urging them to make the most of these resources. This comes as many public schools in the area continue to face difficulties such as incomplete classroom buildings for grade 9.
Ni jambo moja kupeleka mtoto shuleni na ni jambo jingine kuhakikisha mtoto anafaidika akiwa shuleni. Serikali inafanya kazi yake, Wizara ya Elimu inafanya kazi yake, mbunge anafanya kazi yake, walimu wako wanang'ang'ana, wanafunzi kazi ni kwenu.
Residents of Homa Bay County are calling on the government to provide training and empowerment programs for Boda Boda riders to support the informal sector. The locals say the riders needed to be taken through road safety standards and that the sector to receive support for any gainful venture. Speaking during a reflector distribution event held in Kasipul constituency, the residents said proper training, safety equipments as well as government support can make significant difference in reducing accidents and improving the livelihoods of the operators.
want to urge the county government of Homa Bay County to chip in. Let them not postulate these young men and women who are striving so hard to make the ends meet. Let it not be that a non-governmental organization, a non-leader, a non-elected leader is the one who is remembering them. Let also them come on board so that they can have these members on board.
The Center for Mathematics, Science and Technology Education in Africa is spearheading a groundbreaking initiative to boost science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM performance in junior secondary school. The program is part of the government's push to align education within Vision 2030, aiming to cultivate a generation of innovators ready to tackle global challenges.
During a 5-day mentorship program in Baringo County, Center for Mathematics, Science and Technology Education in Africa officials engaged teachers and learners from several schools in interactive science, technology, engineering and mathematics activities. The program covered a wide range of topics from mathematics and integrated science to information communication technology and climate change. The focus, moving away from traditional teacher-centered methods to hands-on, learner-centered approaches. By engaging students in practical activities, teachers can observe and nurture their competencies, interests, and personalities, preparing them for seamless transitions to STEM pathways in senior school. During a visit to Moi Kabartanjo Junior Secondary School in Baringo County, the program coordinator, Beatrice Masharia, emphasized the critical role of junior secondary school teachers in laying the foundation for competency-based curriculum. The program aims to ensure 60% of learners transition to STEM pathways by addressing their capacities, interests, and needs.
Basically, the training we have been doing is to help the teachers to be able to help these learners in transiting, making the choices when they go to the pathway, to make the right choices of the pathways when they get to the senior school.
School managers and teachers have lauded the initiative, noting its potential to transform STEM education. Geoffrey Chepkuto, head teacher at Marigat Junior Secondary School, shared how the program has sparked curiosity among students.
If a learner can come with a waste battery and try to use wasted wires and we see light, and giving us the importance that it can assist also in some ceremonies, it is a step forward and we are going to nurture it up. And
our learners can now develop, I believe they can now develop a positive attitude towards maths, science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
Students across different schools shared how the program changed their perception of STEM subjects like physics and robotics, noting how enjoyable and fascinating the learning process is.
Well, for me, I've never experienced something like this. All the apparatus that we have never seen physically, we only see them in the textbooks, but today we have seen them.
This one is more fun. The teachers are, they're just fun. You can communicate with them well. They're just so fun. This one for mathematics, he knows how to teach you. And when he teaches you, you feel like you're like at home. You can just communicate with them well.
I would like to be a scientist when I grow up. And through science, I will like to know more things about human origin, the explanatory system, and more especially how we organize from childhood to.
While the program has already made significant strides, stakeholders are calling for its expansion through outreach programs. The vision is to revolutionize education in Kenya, paving the way for a brighter, more innovative future. Ian Muse for Lunchtime News.
Welcome to the world of business. Plans are underway to increase the land under irrigation to at least 1 million acres over the next 5 years by increasing investment in water harvesting, storage reservoirs, as well as optimizing infrastructure irrigation, a principal secretary, that is a CPA Fanta scheme author, says 80% of Kenya's land mass is classified as arid and semi-arid areas with enormous agricultural potential that, if fully tapped into, will address food insecurity and reduce reliance on imports. Kimotho says distillation of water pans and sinking boreholes in arid and semi-arid areas will mitigate against water and fodder challenges.
Is that we don't have water. So again, NISIP tries to address the issue of water security. We are looking at how we can be able to build water structures, build dams, build check dams from the laggers. We are looking forward to having various engagements. We'll be having various memorandum of understanding with them with an intention of coming up with a program that will be able to catalyze private capital, because in this program, most of we entail to get almost 70%. From 30% of it may be funded by government, but 70% of it will be mainly be funded by 30% of it will be funded by government and development partners. 70% we expect it to be funded by private sector and climate funding.
And on the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump says the sweeping tariffs that he has imposed on Mexico, Canada and China may cause short-term pain for Americans as global stock markets tumbled on concerns that the levies will spark an economically damaging trade war. President Trump plans to hold talks with the leaders of Canada and Mexico, which have announced retaliatory tariffs of their own but downplayed expectations that they will change his mind. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines across the globe.
U.S. President Donald Trump says tariffs on the European Union will go ahead, but did not say when. European leaders are set to meet in Brussels on Monday to discuss tariffs in the wake of President Trump's comments. President Trump's tariffs will cover almost half of all U.S. imports and will require the United States to more than double its own manufacturing output to cover the gap. Economists said the U.S. president's plan to impose 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% tariffs on China, which are the United States' three largest trading partners, will slow global growth and drive prices higher for Americans. The Chinese yuan, Canadian dollar and Mexican peso all slumped against the soaring dollar. Elsewhere, Samsung Electronics chairman J.Y. Lee has been found not guilty of accounting fraud and stock manipulation by a Seoul appeals court in a ruling that could remove long-running legal risks that he has been facing from criminal cases. The Seoul High Court upheld the lower court's ruling, dismissing all the charges from a case involving a 2015 merger that prosecutors said were designed to cement Lee's control of the tech giant. The legal battles have been a distraction for Lee, who faced growing questions about his ability to lead Samsung Electronics, which is the world's top memory chip and smartphone maker, as it grapples with growing competition and lackluster stock prices. For nearly a decade, Lee has faced legal challenges, including those from the merger that paved the way for his succession after his father, Lee Kun-hee, had a heart attack in 2014 that left him in a coma. Finally, SoftBank Group CEO Masayoshi Son has agreed with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman to set up a joint venture in Japan to offer artificial intelligence services to corporate customers. The Japanese investment giant will also pay $3 billion annually to use OpenAI's technology across SoftBank Group companies. The joint venture SB OpenAI Japan will be owned by OpenAI and a company established by SoftBank and its domestic telecoms arm. Son is moving to deepen his exposure to OpenAI, with SoftBank looking at investing $15 to $25 billion in the company. SoftBank is also committing $15 billion to Stargate, a joint venture with OpenAI and Oracle to build AI capacity in the United States.
And now finally, let's play. The national under-23 wheelchair basketball team will be out to secure their place on the world stage during the African qualifiers for the 2025 IWBF Under-23 Men's Championship in Johannesburg, South Africa. The team has been training at Kasarani in readiness for the qualifiers and left the country today morning.
The team of 12 has been intensifying training ahead of the international assignments, where they will be expected to rise to the occasion this time round, aiming to make a podium finish. The Maurice Ouma Charges left the country in high spirits and are looking for a stellar performance, having been boosted by fresh talents who are ready to take the sport to the next level. The 2025 IWBF Under-23 Men's Africa Qualifiers will be held from tomorrow to the 13th of this month at the Madeville Indoor Sports Arena in Johannesburg, South Africa. It will serve as a qualifier for the World Championship scheduled for Sao Paulo, Brazil later this year, with only one spot up for the grabs for the African participating teams.
Now, quickly before I go, a fun fact here. Dan Mwendwa, who you've just heard from that particular story of the wheelchair basketballers, is an avid Manchester City fan. And not only did he not attempt to inform you what transpired yesterday at the Emirates Stadium, is that the citizens were not only whooped 1, 2, 3 or even 4, but 5 goals at the Emirates Stadium. All we can say to them is that stay humble, eh? That marks the end of our bulletin. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Lensa Odingo. Good afternoon for now.